So welcome back to the channel. I have just been to Rindt Vehicle Design. I'm just driving away. Now, I came here a few weeks ago to catch up with Simon Jessup, who's a photographer. You'll have seen him on Instagram. I tag him in some of my posts. Great guy, does some great work, and he does a lot of work with Rindt Vehicle Design where he takes some pictures. So I came to catch up with him, and I met Brian, the owner. Lovely man, and incredibly stressed, really busy, but will always give you time to chat. And I messaged him and said, could I please come and have a chat and make a video, and it would only be a couple of minutes. And he agreed, and I'm such a tiny YouTube channel, I can't, honestly, he's so happy to just talk to people about cars. Not only that,
turn right,
I met Stephen Whale at Rindt Vehicle Design. Now, Stephen was on a Porsche called Owner Story on the podcast with Michael Bath, and he's got a 912 that's been at Prill Porsche for ages, and he's just picked it up, and I mean, you could tell by his face, he's so happy. It's so fantastic to meet him, and to see his car. I'm so jealous. It looks just fantastic. I mean,
right onto Millie Lane.
He told me that he could pick fault with it. I couldn't. I mean, everything's relative, I guess, you know, when you're looking at something that's against something brand spanking new. But to me, if mine looked like that, I'd be so overjoyed. So it was fantastic to meet him, chat to him. He's also a Golf R owner, but his Golf R is a Mark 8. One Magpie. And as you can tell, I am in my wife's Golf R, which is a Golf R Mark 7.5. Now, the thing is, my wife is very wise, because this morning I had the intention of coming here in the Boxster. Now, I've not driven the Boxster since I picked it up from Jack. Even though it was sunny yesterday, it's sunny today, so I should drive it. But I wanted to. So I meant to drive it yesterday, but I didn't. So I wanted to come here in it. But my wife, being so wise, she said, "You haven't driven it anywhere. Don't you want to make sure you get there?" And I thought, yes, I should do that. And I couldn't bring my 911 because it's at Jack's. I left it there when I picked up my Boxster. So I need to go and drive the Boxster, and then I need to make a list of all the things that are wrong with it, all the things that are good about it, and then just get it advertised. Unless there's someone out there who wants to help me save it. You know, if you're a Design 911, if you're Porsche UK, Porsche GB, you know, and you want to help save it. Otherwise, I'm just going to pass it on to a DIY mechanic. Is someone who needs to see that and save it. But anyway, so I went and had a look around Rindt Vehicle Design. A fantastic place. I love that place. I'm not, by the way, I'm not sponsored in any way by them. I'm not paid to say these things, but you can tell when someone's passionate about what they do, and someone who cares about what they do. And also, I mean, you'll from the chat that I had with Brian, you'll see in a minute that, you know, they don't just go and patch things up. They do something that's just going to last. And I think the thing that I always say to people when they say, "Oh, a couple of people said to me, should I take my car to Rindt?" And I said, look, it's going to cost you a lot of money, but
take the second exit to New Bath Road, A4.
And you've got the guarantee that it's going to be done properly. But also, when you come to sell it, you'll be able to say it was worked on at Rindt, and that's going to add value to it, because that means something. And you know what? That isn't that common these days, where saying it was worked on here means something. So I would. So I had a quick walk around, and I had a really brief chat with Brian. I could have stayed there a really long time, but I was really wary that he was super busy, and he took the time out to speak to me. So I'm super appreciative of that. His wife even came out to ask me if I wanted a coffee because it started to rain a little bit, and it's just, honestly, I couldn't recommend a place more highly for if you wanted something restored. That's the place to go. Or what you could do is buy something that needs restoration and then get it restored to your requirements by Brian and his team. I mean, they've got the stuff that I always think is difficult, is expensive, it's messy, and it's hard to get right. It's just all the bodywork, fabrication, cutting out rust, welding in new stuff, and it isn't. They never ever just patch. If they find a patch, they remove it, they put in new metal, and it looks like it's never been patched. Or they just take off the whole panel and go, you know what? That would be the best thing to do. So I hope you enjoy my really short walk around their yard and a quick chat with Brian, the owner. Enjoy. I'm here with Brian from Rindt Vehicle Design. Thank you for your time today.
No problem.
I really appreciate it. I just wanted a quick Q&A kind of thing to understand about Rindt. So many people talk about it, so many people go on about it. I see TG's Targa over there.
Yep.
Can't help noticing it's got lots of decals on it, and it's
which was a really bad idea.
I was going to say, it's new paint.
Yeah, we have told him that.
Okay.
Yeah. He's been suitably chastised.
I can imagine. But about Rindt Vehicle Design, and I know, because what attracted me to you first was the name. Because Jochen Rindt, the only posthumous Formula One world champion.
But for me, it wasn't so much about the posthumous bit, it was how he used to race. So Jochen Rindt was a balls-out racer. So he won races with no third gear. He won races with no fourth gear. He won races with a gear lever cut into his hand because it snapped. So rather than stop, he carried on, and he had 16 stitches, 17 stitches in his hand. So for me, I'm incredibly passionate about old Porsche. I specialise in early right-hand drive.
Yes.
But I absolutely idolise the brand. I like the idea that Ferdinand Porsche comes up with, the car wasn't there, so I built it. Right, and that's kind of where I come from. Right, the best thing you can say to me is it can't be done, because I will prove you wrong.
Yep.
So we're very lucky. We've got 16 incredibly skilled staff. Well, two are learning to be that way, but 14 are absolutely at the top of their game. So we're very lucky. We do everything ourselves. So paintwork we do, fabrication we do, electrics, trimming, engine building, gearbox building, everything's done in-house.
So from that point, I mean, my camera's propped on this 911T, which looks absolutely fantastic. I can't stop looking at it, and it's sat in the middle of the yard.
Yeah.
So when something like that comes to you, because fabrication, bodywork, that's the messy bit, the expensive bit, the bit that's really hard to get right.
The most expensive, it's like building a house, right?
Yep.
So a house is no good unless the foundations are right, right? A restoration is no good unless the body's right. Yep. So that's the first port of call, but it's always the most expensive port of call. So on an average, no two cars are the same, but if you're building something 73 backward, short wheelbase or other, you're really into 110 grand's worth of bill.
Wow.
Maybe a bit more. So it depends what you buy as to how much we have to do and what sort of finish you're trying to get to. So this car in particular, this is a 72 right-hand drive oil flap car. But the customer wanted some pretty cool things in it. So he wanted it a bit more drivable, so we made it a little bit more perky. He wanted a leather interior, which was an option at the time, but he wanted Connolly hides, which are a lot dearer, and so on and so forth. We managed to find him the steering wheel that he wanted. He wanted us to design some door cards, so we did that for him.
Wow. With the handles,
Yeah, with the handles and da-da-da-da-da. We've put electric aircon in there.
Yeah, I can see the pipes at the front,
It's just a car that he uses every day, but that car was an expensive car to build. I wouldn't divulge how much it was at the end because it's a customer's car.
Yes.
But trust me, that was an expensive 911.
So how do you make a decision? So that's a customer's car that came in and you built. This is one of yours, isn't it?
Yeah, no, this one again is a customer's car. So
right, okay.
this that was our car. We built
Okay.
it. We bought it rather,
sold that.
and then we sold it with an agreed build time and
Right.
a rough budget. Budgets generally change.
Yeah, absolutely.
So far, I've not opened up a Porsche and gone, "Oh, that's better than I thought it was." Right.
can
So
imagine.
they are generally worse than you expect. We had a gentleman down this morning with a Targa that he bought blind.
There's nothing wrong with buying a blind
No,
car, buying it blind.
I buy plenty of cars blind, but you've got to go in with your shoulders back and your head up.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that car, Tom's car was bad, so maybe 5 out of 10 bad.
Yeah, and people have seen the videos
yeah,
on that, haven't they?
That's 9 out of 10 bad. So, you know, what we said to him is, look, unless you absolutely love the car, I would pass that on and let it be somebody else's problem, because that's a money pit. We're here as a business to make money, but we're here to produce a quality product for people that are passionate about Porsches. I am.
And people have to be realistic, don't they, about what they bought. But looking at that, would you ever say to somebody, actually, don't get it restored, it's too much money?
That's what I've just said to him.
But you could use it as it is.
You can't use that as it is.
Or is it
not
dangerous?
structurally sound.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, again, we've had customers down here that I've said, look, I'm really sorry, but if you want to drive that out of here, you're not.
Yeah.
I'll stick it on the truck, I'll take it home.
Okay.
So, again, what we try and preach is if a car's 50 years old, it doesn't matter if it's a Californian car, it doesn't matter if it's an England car or a Wales car, it's going to be rusty.
Yep.
It's just the degree of rust. So if a car's been looked after really well, you know, maybe you've only got 10 grand's worth of bodywork. But if it hasn't, you're staring at 60 grand's worth of bodywork.
Yeah, because I look at that one, the red 912 in the corner.
Yeah.
Now that looks like a brand new car.
And
it looks
that's how we restore
absolutely
cars.
immense. And that's one that you've done here from
Yeah.
scratch.
Yeah.
Is that now a customer's car?
Yeah, we sold that for 115 grand.
Wow. And that's the expertise and everything that you put into it, and that's what the value is at the end, because people can take it away and say, I got that done at Rindt.
Yeah, well,
because that's what
it's a fully rebuilt nut and bolt car. So nut and bolt restorations is what we love doing. We do partial restorations, but it's not something I really enjoy getting involved in, because you're continually making a phone call saying, actually. I'd rather blanket, let's strip it. We put one technician on a car for 1 week, he'll strip it to nothing. It goes to shop blasting. From there we can estimate a build.
And it comes back as just pure whatever's left of the metal.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll show you one in there that looked lovely when we bought it in, and we bought it for a client, and he wants to make it his birth year car. It will be a stunning car. But from what it came in at to what it actually is black and white.
Wow.
So, but that's the world of restoration.
Yeah,
so
absolutely, and they
restoration is
can
a lot different.
just be a money pit. But looking at the cars here, which ones are yours?
Well, they were all ours at some point, and we've sold them on. So
right, okay.
this was ours, this was ours, that is ours. That was a part exchange car. That I bought in.
So that's the 308 GTB.
But we're gonna restore that for the guy.
Okay.
But he's a good Porsche client of ours. The 968 is our car that we sell. The 928 we built 5 or 6 years ago. We've been storing it for a guy. This car's come in from Spain. So a gentleman wants to build this.
I was going to say that's one of the few left-hand drive ones here.
We don't do many left-hand drive. But that's come in from Spain just on recommendation. The Cayman is a race car that we look after 3 or 4 cars for them. They blew that up. That's going to be a very expensive engine build.
I think I've seen the engine inside.
Yeah, that's a lot of work on. That we're doing as a track car. This is a little 924 that we run as a track car. Little Cayman that we bought and we've sold on to a guy who wanted to do some track work base in it, so we've just serviced that for him. This is an RS evocation car, but actually has an RS box and RS engine in it. We've just rebuilt the gearbox. The gearbox disintegrated itself, really. This was a car that was built 3.5 years ago by us. So it all depends, really. So we do buy and sell cars, but primarily what we do is build cars.
Right.
So we tend to find wrecks, go through my little back book,
Yep.
get the car to them, and then we'll build it for them.
And just this car, I'm drawn to this car because it's a quite rare one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a 911S, a 73 car, right-hand drive. Started off in the UK. I've been trying to buy that car for 8 years. then moved over to New Zealand, and we bought it back for a client from New Zealand who just buys and sells Porsches with us.
Wow.
So he's going to sell this, but that's around about 130 grand. It's not a restored car, but it starts, drives, runs. Restored, that car these days would be making 180 plus.
That's just simply because it's a 911S
Yeah,
from 73,
exactly.
and it's 2.4.
I mean, yeah, there's just very few of them.
Wow, and it's right-hand drive.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
What kind of premium does right-hand drive put on it?
40%. Yeah,
Wow.
it's huge over left-hand drive. Huge.
So I've got a 912.
Mm-hmm.
It's 66 left-hand drive
Yeah,
from Italy,
gorgeous.
dogleg first.
Three dial dash?
No, it's 5.
66 or 5?
yeah.
Somebody converted it.
I had no idea. It's
Yeah.
not original colour,
Yeah.
not matching numbers. It's got dogleg first, no seat
Yeah.
belts.
Yeah.
And it's
cars.
It's great.
Yeah.
And my friend Jack, who looks after it, he's a Porsche specialist in Reading.
Yep.
And he keeps telling me that I should stop driving it the way I do because I redline it and drive it really hard. And I just think, well, you know what? It's really scabby.
Yeah.
It's got new floors.
Yeah.
It's got no rust. But the sills are good, doors are good, wings are good, everything else is good. It doesn't run particularly great. But once you get going,
Yeah.
it's fantastic. It
They're
goes
lovely
through the
cars.
rough
They're
range.
huge fun.
The noise,
Yeah.
the smell, the
Yeah.
terror,
Yeah.
all of that, I love it.
Brilliant. Yeah.
But I bought that blind.
Mm-hmm.
I bought it from the market up in Abington,
Yeah.
and I just put a bid in, and I bought it for £30,000 about a year ago. And people keep telling me that it's got to be worth more than that now.
Yeah, it will be for sure.
But I did the same with, you've seen my 911.
Yeah.
I bought that for £6,500,
Yeah.
and the Boxster is the one that's caught me out.
Yeah, but I don't think it will have done. You know, I mean, like I say, we race a Boxster. I've only just started racing, and they're huge fun, and you can do so much to them.
I know, but
But you've just got to be prepared to spend your money.
exactly, and I'm out of money now. That
Yeah.
was it. That was my last bit of
Wait.
money, and I was just like,
Earn some more.
I know. Well,
Yeah.
I quit my job in the summer.
Yeah, and don't earn some more.
Yeah, exactly. So I've just been doing this messing
Yeah.
about with
Yeah.
YouTube and things like
Yeah,
that. And I did that as the last thing I'll do, and then I'll go and
Yeah.
get a job. I'll buy the
Yeah,
Boxster. I bought
Yeah.
it off eBay,
Yeah.
and I got it transported. I bought it from up north, and it arrived.
What
Oil separated.
flavour is it? 2.7?
2.7.
2.7, yeah.
And it's got the oil separated gone.
Yeah, well, that's easy to
Been
do.
done. So it drives. One of the radiators and the fans weren't working. The radiator was just spewing out
Yeah.
the coolant.
Yeah.
That's been changed. So I've spent £500 on it. I've spent
Yeah.
£400 to get it down here.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of into like 3,100. But it's still horrific. It's like the suspension shaking like
Yeah.
a wheel's about to come
Yeah.
off. The indicator stalk thing, you know, the common
a lot
thing.
Of that you can do yourself.
I
though.
know.
You know, none of it's complicated
I
on a
keep getting my
Boxster.
hands dirty
Yeah.
as well.
But unfortunately, if you're paying somebody else to do it, it's going to cost you money.
Yes.
But you can do a lot to them. You know, we've got a little 3.2S in there that's just short of 300 brake horse. We've lightened it down to next to nothing. It's huge fun to
seen
drive.
that 'cause it's got
Yeah.
no passenger seat
Yeah.
in, and
All fun to drive.
and it's got all of the fire extinguisher stuff in
It
where
has, yeah.
the marshals pull the
yeah,
thing.
pull the plug.
And so I don't know. I might sell it on as a candidate for a track car.
But you know, it falls into different categories. You know, we've got another Boxster in there, a 3.2 on an X, that we're sort of doing as a half-day track car that you can still drive an MOT.
Drive home in it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you can drive home in it, turn up at the track, swap your wheels over,
And that's
hoon it
exactly,
round, come
isn't
back
it?
and enjoy it.
They're the kind of cars you're driving home in it.
Yeah.
You're driving to the track
Yeah.
and you're driving home in it. And I think they're the ones
I
that.
have a GT4. I'll do exactly the same.
Yes,
just
I've
drive
seen
it
your
there,
GT4.
hoon it round, drive it back.
And when I saw it last and it was parked over there, and I looked at it and I thought, those tyres, they've been on a track because they
Yeah,
look melted.
I have got tyres that are very close to slick right now. I've just ordered a set.
Well,
Yeah.
I really appreciate you taking the time to talk
That's
to
all right,
us.
no trouble at all.
And it's just, I mean, I've got a minuscule channel
Yeah.
and I've heard so many good things about you. And I've said to people that if they want a job that when they sell the car, they can say, I got it done at Rindt. And
That's
I said
something,
that
yeah.
means something.
It does.
You know, I'm not sponsored or anything like
No,
that. So
you're
it's just
always welcome
just
to come down.
because
We welcome everyone down here. We have to operate this damned annoying COVID register.
Yes.
But as long as we know who's coming and when they're coming, no problem with people
No,
coming down.
really
at all.
appreciate it. So I say to anybody,
Yep.
if they want an assessment, if they want
Yeah,
to come and have a
bring it
look,
down,
they
we'll
should,
have a look.
They should do it and just look at some of the stuff. I mean, that 912,
Yeah,
I
we
can't stop
have got
looking at
some
it.
Pretty gorgeous stuff.
Yep.
But you're welcome to film around, have a look, and
Brilliant.
do as you need.
Thank you very much.
Good to meet you. All right.
You too.
Cheers.
Thank
well done.
you. So that was it. That was my visit to Rindt. Short flying visit, but I really enjoyed it. Anyway, thank you to everybody for hitting like, subscribe. Big bump. and commenting, and tune in for the next video. I'm trying to think of something that I can give as a comment or a phrase that you can say at the end of the video. Do you know what I'm going to say? It's someone's name. It's going to be, I've just run over a rabbit. That's not what it is. It's going to be Robert Loggia. Robert Loggia's been in everything. And also he was in Over the Top. So, you know, Robert Loggia. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Catch you next time.